Hi, my name is Kevin LaPorte. I'm an attorney with the LaPorte Law Firm. We're a Bay Area firm specializing solely in Social Security disability cases. And we help clients at all stages of the process, from their initial application all the way through federal district court lawsuits. But a main focus of our practice is representing clients before the administrative law judge, or ALJ, at disability hearings. And so that's what I'm going to cover today. We get a common question from clients, which is, how do I prepare for my disability hearing? One of the best ways to prepare for a hearing is to make a plan. So check your hearing notice as soon as it's scheduled and make sure you know the time, date, and really importantly, the location of your hearing. Here in the Bay Area, the hearings, in-person hearings, take place before judges in downtown Oakland or San Francisco, San Jose, and San Rafael. So make sure you have a plan for the day of the hearing. How are you going to get to the hearing office? Are you going to take public transit or have a friend or family member drop you off? If you're going to commute, where are you going to park and how far away is parking from the hearing office? Some of our clients have actually done a practice run about a week prior to the hearing on the same day and time of the hearing, just so they see what the traffic patterns are, so they know what time to leave, how long it takes to get to the hearing office, just so they know what to expect on the day of the hearing and hopefully alleviate some stress. If you are not having an in-person hearing, if you've elected to have a hearing by telephone, it's important to know exactly where you're going to testify on the day of the hearing. Do you have a room in your home that is private and quiet and hopefully free from distractions? Do you have a reliable cell phone? Make sure that the room has good service and that people can hear you clearly. And then make sure that you know how you're going to testify on your phone. So in general, we found that Bluetooth headsets can cause some echo problems. So wired in headphones are much better in terms of sound quality, or just using the phone normally. If you have a video hearing, make sure you've downloaded Microsoft Teams software. That's how they do video hearings, is via Microsoft Teams. So just make sure you're aware of the general settings and how that software works prior to the hearing. And then also just check your email and make sure you have a link to the video hearing, just so that there's no last minute stress on the day of. And then in terms of the testimony itself, in terms of what takes place during the hearing, make sure to review just a general timeline in your case. And so, how do you determine that? Well, typically that timeline begins when you stop working or your alleged onset day. So, just be generally aware of what has been going on since your alleged onset day, when you're telling Social Security your disability began, why you feel you're unable to work. So, what are the main conditions or impairments that would prevent you from working? What kind of treatment have you gotten? Has some of those treatments helped at all or not? And what kind of medications you're taking, and if any of these medications cause side effects. So just having a general understanding of the time frame involved and the timeline in your case, because when a judge is asking you questions, they're generally working off a large record. In your case, there's a lot of medical records, a lot of documents, there's medical opinions, your earnings records in the file. So if you're just helping the judge find information during the hearing, that can usually make them happy. And that's one of the main strategies at the hearing, is you want to make the judge as happy as possible. Another important piece of advice is, when you're answering questions from the judge, it's important to just answer the question that the judge is asking and to refrain from volunteering any additional information. So just pay attention to what the call of the question is and answer only that. So if the judge asks, do you drive, for example, and a week ago you drove to the store, the answer would just be yes. And then the judge might ask a follow-up question, like, does your medical condition limit your ability to drive? And then you can provide additional detail as the judge asks for it. So really just helping the judge, making sure you're paying attention to the call to question and not making the judge redirect you if your answers are too long. Another important piece of advice is just be honest. Don't worry about how an answer sounds for your case. The general standard for Social Security disability is, can you perform 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, full time work? So if you're able to drive, that doesn't mean you're ineligible for this benefit. The law states and case law states you don't need to be bedridden in order to meet the rules for this benefit. So don't over exaggerate your condition or even downplay it. Just be honest and straightforward. That'll make the judge happy, and it'll add credibility to other parts of your testimony, including why you feel you're unable to work. Another important thing to note going into the hearing is you're unlikely to know the answer on the day of. Most judges will conclude a hearing by advising you that they'll consider your testimony, review the records, and then it might be a month or two before you get a decision in writing. So it's good going into the hearing to know what to expect. You're probably not going to know the answer on the day of. It can be a little anticlimactic. I know you've been waiting for a very long time for this decision, but it might be a couple more months after the hearing before you actually get a decision in writing. Um, so those are just generally the things that can help prepare you for a disability hearing. Have a plan for how you're going to get to the hearing on the day of. If you're testifying from home, have a plan for where you're going to testify and make sure you've tested out the device you're going to use. And then just review your general timeline from the day you stopped working all the way through the hearing date, and decide how what the main issues are. What are the primary impairments that you feel are preventing you from working, and how those things are affecting you day to day. Does it prevent you from cooking or cleaning, going grocery shopping? Do you have to take naps during the day? If so, how long do those naps last for? Do you have a comfortable position in your home that helps alleviate your pain? Do you have any family members or friends who help take care of basic activities of daily living that they didn't before? Those are the types of details that the judge is asking for. They have your medical record in front of them. They know what the doctors are saying. There's a large treatment record. But as long as you're just being honest and straightforward, that adds to your credibility and hopefully makes the hearing go as smoothly as possible. I understand that this is a stressful process. It can be invasive, but some of my clients find it's actually nice to speak to a judge, because for the most part, judges in the Bay Area are friendly, and all of them are very fair. They hold fair hearings and apply the rules fairly. So you're going to get a fair hearing on the day of. And it's nice to actually talk to a person who's asking you questions. It's not just sending forms back and forth from the Social Security Administration. We have on our website a ebook that covers a lot of this, how to prepare for a disability hearing. And then we also offer free consultations. So if you're waiting for your hearing, give us a call. We'll tell you how to obtain your Social Security file that we can review. That's what the judge will have in front of them when they're making their decision. It contains all kinds of information, including your earnings record, the reasons Social Security denied your case. If you went in front of a consultative examiner, they'll have a report, as well as any medical records or opinion evidence that Social Security has. So we'll review that together and discuss potential representation before the judge. And then in terms of our practice, we like to hold a practice session before the hearing, at least two prior to the hearing, just so you know what to expect, and we give you general advice and feedback about how to testify. And each case is unique, so the questions are always different. Thank you very much for listening and reviewing this video. We have a lot of information on our website, so feel free to download our ebooks. And if you'd like a consultation, just give us a call, or you can schedule one online directly with one of our attorneys. Thanks again. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.